Almost every day is hard. Almost every day is hard. It's just hard to see a silver lining every day.
When you don't have trust, you don't have intimacy. And what became apparent to Christine was the lack of intimacy. And you came to me saying, why is there a lack of intimacy? And I said, because there's a lack of trust. And then we started communicating when we were still living in Utah, where she was like, I hate the principle. I hate living this way. I hate this sharing. I hate feeling jealousy. I hate.
Hi, friends. I hope you're having a great day. It's April 1st, 2025. It's Kody Joy, not Kody Brown. I'm not Kody Brown. I'm Kody Joy. Or I'm Kody from Without a Crystal Ball, but not Kody Brown. Some of you think I'm Kody Brown. I'm not. I have a last name, but it's not Brown. Anyway, today is the day. Today is a deadline for Kody and Christine's custody case. So back in September, Christine fired off a legal lawsuit against Kody Brown for child custody, paternity, child support, all the things, parenting time. And within about a month, Kody fired back and he countersued her. And it looked like at that point it was going to be pretty contentious. It has to do with their daughter, Truly. And Truly is about to be 15. She will turn 15 this month. Can you believe it? And she is a freshman in high school. And Truly is interestingly in the middle of this dispute, but I don't think it's that heated of a dispute in terms of like where she wants to live. When everything started back in September, it happened around the same time that Kody and Robin decided to list their house. And at the time that they listed their house, there was this stop that was placed on the funds and like transferring of documents and transferring of assets and hiding money, all of that kind of stuff. Like there was a court injunction put on financials until everything was resolved. And the case in Utah is being handled as a divorce, which is so strange. Don't ask me why. And when Kody filed the countersuit, a lot of people were like, what the hell? What are you doing, Kody? You never see your daughter anyway. I think the countersuit could be just like him saying, no, I'm not going to pay this much or whatever. But when this all popped off and it happened so fast and it happened to do and coincide with all these arguments that were happening within the family about money and Kody fighting with Janelle and Mary and disputes about, money from the show and all of the greed that's got in the way of this dynamic. And Kody's greed is what I mean. And the women just wanting a piece of it, right? Like a piece of what's rightfully theirs, which it's their right to have the money that they deserve. But Kody believes that all the money is his. But his biggest fear has always been poverty, right? And in the middle of them listing the house and buying the new house, Christine filed for the custody, which I think could have been strategic because he'll have to show to the court, like, I just bought a $2 million house and I have an $11,000 a month mortgage. And so I can afford to pay for my kid. So in December, a few months after all of it started, they had their first hearing with a commissioner in Utah. The case became qualified and classified as a divorce, which is wild because they were never married. They were required to go through some educational classes. The case got a classification, and it appeared that the case could become contentious. So when everything was set up by the court indicated that there could be the possibility that there could be some disputes over custody and needing a guardian ad litem. And there was some deadlines that they needed to make. So on the one hand, they were saying this might be an easy case by classifying it as a track one, meaning that there wasn't going to be expert witnesses, there wasn't going to be complex discovery, there wasn't a high conflict or dispute happening here. But then on the other hand, they said this case might need a custody evaluation. And if you need a custody evaluation, it's due and you must file a motion by April 1st. And the case might need a guardian ad litem. And if you need a guardian ad litem, you need to file for this by April 1st. Well, that's today. Okay. And then they were also told you have to do these classes in divorce and a mandatory educational and orientational course for divorcing parents. And then they have to do mediation by the middle of May. And they didn't anticipate any any temporary orders. And then their next hearing was in May on the 21st. Well, it's come and gone. Today is April 1st, and it's not common that you would wait for the deadline to file if you needed a custody evaluation or if you needed a guardian ad litem. And there's been no motions filed. They can still file after today, but they'd have to show cause to the commissioner as to why they're filing late. So if they don't get a custody evaluation and they don't get a guardian ad litem, it would seem to suggest to me that this case is not going to be as contentious as it seems. And I don't know that that really has anything to do with Christine. And I think it has more to do with Truly, because in Utah, a child can express their preference of which parent that they want to live with, but they're going to give more weight to Truly's wishes at age 14. So she's actually going to be 15 this month. And the court can view her case and state, okay, this is where we want her to live, or this is where she wants to live. It says that judges may place more weight on the child's wishes if they are 16 or older, but even then, the judge is not obligated to follow the child's wishes. So they don't have to follow her wishes. But if Truly says, I want to live with my mom, this is where I go to high school, this is where I have my family, this is where I'm rooted, how much can Kody really fight? And do you think he really cares enough to fight for Truly? The only reason I could see him fighting is if he believed that having more time would make him pay less, you know? So I have some thoughts here. I think that maybe through this process, and this is just me spitballing, that there could be some awakening of Kody realizing that, like, my daughter wants to live with her mom and I'm not going to fight this. And if Truly is able to advocate for herself, and I believe she can, she probably is not going to advocate to move back to Arizona because she's been in Utah now for how many years? And a judge isn't going to likely uproot her and make her see her move in with her dad. Kody's likely to get a standard visitation schedule that's set up by the state of Utah. And if everything can go seamlessly without him fighting and being a jerk, the child support is determined based on a formula that's submitted through a worksheet to the court. And it doesn't matter if Christine makes a lot of money or if Kody makes a lot of money. It has to do with like the amount of time they have together, how many nights they have the child per month or like per year. And generally speaking, the custodial parent that has the child more often will receive child support if they make less money than the parent that doesn't have child custody. It's wild. But Kody will seemingly have to pay child support, and he'll have to pay for health insurance or provide for health insurance because in the state of Utah, they have to split costs for healthcare. So if everything is going seamlessly, right, and everything is going fine, and they haven't sought this out, I have hope that this isn't going to be contentious or painful for Truly because she's such a sweetheart. My next question is, Christine's book is coming out in September, and their case will not be done by then. Their next case hearing is a status hearing. It's not the final hearing. Unless they go through mediation and they come to an agreement through mediation through their attorneys and they don't have to go to a trial, this could be over in May, theoretically, if Kody doesn't fight and he agrees to everything. Otherwise, and still, there's this really weird space that they're in right now because as long as the case is active, they have an active order against both of them that they have to be mindful about how they communicate and speak about their ex in front of the child in relation to the child and about the ex. And so the domestic relations injunction, it says, in the presence or hearing of the children, demean or disparage, talk badly about the other party, attempt to influence the children's preference regarding custody or parent time, or say or do anything that would negatively affect the love and affection of the children for the other party or involve the children in issues of the petition, or making parent you can't make parent time arrangements through the children. And when the children are under a party's care, the party must use their best efforts to prevent others from doing anything described above, and if necessary, remove the children from the situation. So she's not supposed to have conversations around Truly in regards to Kody and demeaning or disparaging, talking bad about the other party. So, with her book coming out, I just wonder how this can be accomplished. I wonder how this case impacts the show with that you cannot demean or disparage the other parent in front of the child. Kody and Christine, their like jabs back and forth have been like half the reason why people tune in to the show lately. And it's not healthy by any means. But how does she promote the book and publish the book right now, knowing that there's this, you can't do this in front of hearing of the child? Is there a special stipulation if you're on a television show? Because there's nothing here that indicates that there's any special anything. And I would assume that putting a book out that talks about your ex, and by the way, I'm not discounting that she should do this. I think it's great that she shares her story. I just hope she doesn't get in trouble for doing it. I hope that Kody doesn't hold it against her. And I hope when she's doing her press and her interviews for it, that her daughter truly isn't around. But I have a hard time believing that she would shield Truly from the contents of the book. And while the kids have a right to have a feeling about their dad, and Truly has her own relationship with her dad, and Christine says, I've never said anything bad about, their dad in front of them. There was an episode this year where she said that she had trauma because of Kody and living in Flagstaff. So, and her daughter was hearing that. And that was before she filed the lawsuit. I would assume that his abandonment of Truly would have Truly at this point having her own feelings about her dad. But I just wonder if the book is the right time. She can't stop it now. And if there's going to be something that comes up about that with Kody, if it'll somehow cause him to not be cooperative at all. Right now, as it stands, it looks like it's not going to be super contentious. It could be that, Truly has advocated for herself and made it clear where she wants to be, and he's just not going to fight. But I hope that Kody doesn't use this book against her as a way to like hold her in contempt or get her in trouble with the court. I wonder how far ahead she thought about, one, when she signed up to do the book, and two, when she filed for this. She deserves to get child support, right? Could she have held off on writing the book? Would it have served her to wait a couple years to hold off? Do you think Cody's going to like make a stink out of it? Or do you think he's moved on too? What are your thoughts? Do you think this is going to chill out and he'll have to just pay and everything will go well? Or do you think it's going to get a fight? It feels too quiet to me. It feels too easy. I don't feel like Kody would just walk and just give up. Like he's just a jerk. So I can't, it feels like it's too easy right now. And I have a bad feeling and it's like lingering. But at the same time, I'm like, maybe it's not going to be impossible. But then at the same time, but her book is coming out. The flames are fanned. Tell me what your thoughts are. If you've gone through divorce, if you've felt like something like this has happened to you, tell me in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed, and click the bell so you never miss a video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye, guys.